Trump not letting up his battle against the media at a rally to mark his first 100 days in office. The rally happening at about the same time as the White House Correspondents Association dinner in Washington, setting up a split-screen moment that was virtually made for TV. The president calling reporters a disgrace.
Let's rate the media's 100 days. Should we do that? Because, as you know, they are a disgrace. If the media's job is to be honest and tell the truth, then I think we would all agree the media deserves a very, very big, fat, failing grade.
President Trump also taking his attacks online to Twitter, saying, quote, mainstream fake media refuses to state our long list of achievements, including 28 legislative signings, strong borders, and great optimism. The president of the White House Correspondents Association answering right back.
We are not fake news. We are not failing news organization. And we are not the enemy of the American people.
But he also conceded that access to the president has been very good. Meantime, Mr. Trump telling Reuters last week he would absolutely attend next year's dinner. And there you have it. Brian, where do you see this relationship between the president and the media going, say, over the next 100 days?
We already have two relationships going on with the same two people. We have, I don't like the media, they're bad, and they're not satisfactory, and they're not giving me an honest shake. And then when the healthcare bill blows up, he calls the Washington Post and New York Times. And for that man, Jeff Mason, with Reuters, he did an interview with Jeff 2 days prior.
Yes.
And everyone basically says, the Washington people say they are more accessible than any previous
So what are you complaining about?
So it's the last 16 years, they are more open. So I just think what drives him crazy is when he has a story out there and people deliver the news who are supposed to be unbiased and unbiased. I don't think he has a problem with the Rachel Maddows of the world giving their opinion. That's what they're supposed to do. But when you're delivering it from 9 to 5 or 9 to 8 and you pretend as if you're unbiased, yet the way you deliver it is in a biased way.
Timothy?
Actually went to the dinner and spent some time with Miss Harris Faulkner.
Yes, we did. We were keeping an eye
Absolutely.
out for some MSM bias if there was.
We were looking for bias, and we also went on our own goodwill tour throughout the proceedings. And I think we accomplished much better than I. It was an outreach program. It was a personal tool and outreach program, and we healed some wounds. We raised spirits, and we got to the truth. And I actually think the president was very smart for skipping this year's Correspondents' Dinner. Number one, it made it about the press. It was less Hollywood love fest.
So true.
It was very interesting because in the past, I don't know why journalists have been so enamored of President Obama, because he had open contempt for them and really did not have a transparent administration.
Or accessibility, the way that this president is being talked about by those in the media who don't even necessarily want to admit that they covered him with bias. But one thing that I noticed about the dinner was just the attitude of the people. There was not that snootiness of which press members were closer to whom and closer to this administration or whatever. I mean, it really was a celebration of the journalism that we're supposed to be doing. I mean, that's why we go. We should raise our game. That was a theme throughout the night. It was interesting, though. Mr. Trump came up, even on the red carpet. People were saying, we miss him, which I thought was really interesting.
Well, I know what he feels like, because every member of the press who's worked at any mainstream newspaper, if they run into me, and not at a gala, because I never get invited to those, but if I run into them maybe at a book party, they always better deal me. They look over your shoulder looking for somebody better to talk to. They run over the top of your head or right by your ear, and I'm like, who are you looking at?
Checking to make sure you have book earrings on.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, what? Hello? You know what? Andrew Ross Sorkin just ain't that cool.
Right.
But one thing that Trump does, I think he just enjoys poking these journalists because he knows how insecure they are.
I think it made us better in that room.
He gets a kick out of it because his job is arduous, and he has fun because he knows how insecure these journalists are. Insecure and arrogant. And he'll be back next year. It'll be a whole different vibe, and they will rib each other. And it was actually a reset year for the dinner, and going forward it's going to be
tonight your show?
Actually, I'm going to show some exclusive, never before seen photographs from a Correspondents' Dinner, including a few of Miss Harris Faulkner.
Wow, the party outreach program.
That's not a reason.
Exactly right.
Mayday